All right, the political focus today on Iowa and South Carolina. In Iowa, 6 Republican candidates are actively campaigning and participating, trying to win a straw poll. Tim Pawlenty, Michelle Bachmann are thought to have the most riding on the outcome. Meanwhile, Mitt Romney, John Huntsman, and Newt Gingrich also on the ballot for today's straw poll, but they've all decided to take a pass at actively campaigning there. At least 2 people who aren't on that ballot there at all, still making a lot of noise this weekend. Those 2, Sarah Palin. She rolled into Iowa on her bus tour, and then the Texas governor, Rick Perry. He is in South Carolina, and that is where he is expected to announce his presidential bid later today. Joining me now to talk all things presidential politics, our friends, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona in Washington, and also from Iowa today, Republican strategist Lenny McAllister decided to join that fun. Good morning to you both. Let me start with Maria and Lenny. What is, or maybe what will be, the political headline of the week for you? Maria, you start.
I think it's going to be, TJ, of all of the Republican contenders, who can be the most extreme conservative? Please stand up.
All right. Always the good Democrat, isn't she, Lenny? Lenny, you tell me what the highlight was already or maybe could still be to come.
I'm going to quote a fellow native Pittsburgher from Thursday night. Showmanship, or paraphrase, showmanship or leadership? Who's going to be the best showman and who's going to show to be the best leader coming out of this weekend? That's the main headline coming out of Ames.
All right, Lenny, let me go to you with this question, and Maria, it's coming for you next as well. Give me one name, Lenny, who has the most riding on this Ames straw poll today.
It's absolutely Tim Pawlenty. There's another governor jumping into the race. Michelle Bachmann went after him and called him a big government Republican, which is the worst thing you can call somebody here at Ames today. He has a lot riding on this. He hasn't looked that great in the debates, and if he doesn't do something soon to start turning this around, he's going to start shutting his campaign down.
And Lenny, you said he has a lot riding on it, so where does he need to come in? First, second, third? Could he go as low as 4th?
No, he cannot go as low as 4th, and I don't think he can go as low as 3rd. 3rd would probably be a surprise. He really, in order to boost money, for raising money, in order to boost his name cachet with other Republicans around the country, he needs to come at least in 2nd place here. If he starts hitting 4th or 5th or something along those lines, he's going to start packing it in, I think.
Maria, same question to you. Give me one name who has the most riding on today.
I agree. I think it's Tim Pawlenty, because when he first started into this race, a lot of GOP voters had high hopes for him because he had been a governor and he was showing his record and his record as a governor and as being able to lead a state. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to register with GOP voters in terms of enthusiasm or in terms of his record. I think another person is Newt Gingrich. If those 2 don't do well today, I think that you're going to see them really starting to think about dropping out. And I think that that's what's going to be the major thing for those 2 candidates.
Maria, I'll stay with you here for a second. If he needs to have a good showing, who would actually have their campaign deflated a bit with the expectations game? Is it Michelle Bachmann, who's expected to do well? If she doesn't come in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, could that do damage to her? Give me a name of a person who if they don't have the good showing as expected, could really take some wind out of their sails.
I do think at this point it is Michelle Bachmann, TJ, because I think against all odds and against everyone's expectations, including my own, and I know that my friend Lenny as well, she has actually done well. She has excited the Republican base. She has been able to command a crowd. I think she's done quite well for herself in the debates. So now, unfortunately, though, going into the straw poll, she does have expectations that she's going to be at least 1, 2, or 3. I actually think that she probably will do well in the straw poll. But if she doesn't, I think that that will be one thing that will deflate her a little bit in terms of how well she's done thus far.
All right, Lenny, let me come to you on Michelle Bachmann. Can she win? You and I have gone back and forth on this question for a while, and every time you give me a firm no. Are you starting to be a believer yet?
Can she win in Ames? Yes, she can win today, and I would not be surprised if she won today, even though she didn't win Thursday. The person that won the debate Thursday night was Newt Gingrich by far, but I don't think he's going to do well today. Can Michelle Bachmann win something like the Ames straw poll? Yes. Can she win the nomination overall? No. Can she win the general election November 2012? At this point in time, I say no.
All right, Rick Perry now in South Carolina. He's stealing a lot of thunder from the folks in Iowa. I guess who is most threatened by Rick Perry right now? Is it Mitt Romney? Is it Michelle Bachmann? Who should be shaking in their boots right now, Maria, that Rick Perry is getting in the game?
I think it should be all of them, TJ, but because Mitt Romney is the current frontrunner, he should be the one that's most nervous, because we see in polls already that when Rick Perry comes in, he's going to be already a close second to Mitt Romney. And frankly, a lot of the conservatives have their eye on him in terms of becoming the frontrunner when he jumps in. Unfortunately, for the general, though, if he does end up becoming the nominee, he is a very out-of-the-mainstream candidate who likes to tout job creation in Texas, but yet unemployment in Texas has gone up from 8.1 to 8.2. And the jobs that he has created in Texas, mostly government jobs. And he likes to rail against the government. So a little hypocritical there. I'm actually looking forward to really focusing on his record, or lack thereof, in terms of growth for the middle class in Texas.
Lenny, you agree he's a threat to everybody in the race?
He's a threat to everybody in the race, but listen, if it's between Romney and Bachmann, I think it's going to be Bachmann, because, again, at least Romney has the executive experience to go from governor to president. And don't be surprised if somebody like a Michelle Bachmann, and even perhaps a Romney or Pawlenty, starts tying Perry to Bush and saying, do we need another Texas governor in the White House? And as they do that, Romney will slowly but surely create a different image from himself and try to separate himself from the fray.
All right, last thing to both of you. And Lenny, I'll start with you. We'll talk about President Obama. Kind of a rough week for the president. The economic news, the killing of 30 American forces in Afghanistan, and now the president's going kind of on a Midwest tour. And Lenny, some critics are saying, and this always comes up, but the president's about to go on vacation. He's taking this bus tour, but he's going to Martha's Vineyard for vacation. Presidents, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't in a situation like this. But what can the president do, and how does his vacation even play into perception about him being disconnected or tone deaf when it comes to feeling the pain of people right now in the country?
Unfortunately, part of his image in 2008 that made him so great is part of the image that's affecting him now, which was he's professorial, he's detached, he's cool and calm above it all. Well, when you're cool and calm above all this crisis, it makes you seem as though you're aloof and you don't care. This is not the time for him to take a vacation, because it only plays into that perception. This is not a good move for him. I don't know who his political advisors are telling him to go ahead and get some time and space away from this, but it's not going to play to his advantage. It's going to play right into the image that these folks here in Ames, Iowa are going to hit him over the head with over the course of the next several hours.
Maria, you wrap it up for me here, but the guy works hard. He never gets time off. Yes. I mean, he deserves the vacation, but does it look bad in many people's eyes?
Look, this president has woken up every single day trying to figure out how to create American jobs. We would hope that the Republicans would try to join him in his effort, and that's what he's doing right now with his Midwest tour, TJ, really focusing on the fact that we need job creation policies in this country, and he needs help from the Republicans to make that happen. He goes on vacation. He's never really on vacation. You know that, TJ. Yeah. And he does work hard. I don't think that we should begrudge any president, Republican or Democrat, trying to take some downtime, trying to energize again, because it is a tough job, and it has probably been the toughest job for this president overall, as you said, in the last couple of weeks. But he is laser focused on how to create more American jobs in this country. He hopes that the Republicans will join him, because since they have taken over the House, they have done absolutely zero to try to create American jobs. We need to change that.
All right. Maria, Lenny, good to see you both, as always. Lenny, you enjoy the party, as it's described there in Iowa today.
Thank you.
We'll see you both soon. Thanks.